Hi, Kobang. I can see that people are talking, but I cannot hear. I'm not getting the sounds. Can you help
Oh,
out?
yeah, no, no, yeah, it was on mute.
It's on mute. It's on mute.
We are just
Thank
getting
you.
the people in now.
Yeah, we're just getting everybody in now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Okay, it's all right.
I'll put this on.
Great stuff. Thank you so much. Great stuff. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to this auspicious day, Africa Day. I know all of you expected me to say the book launch. No, Africa Day. And thank you very much for making the time to come and grace us with your presence. And my duty this morning, I would like to start off by introducing my co-host, Ms. Patricia Rugushi. My name is Zoro Nyati. We will be your co-host for the program today. Pat, please stand up so they can see you. Thank you very much. Ain't she lovely? She looks like Africa herself. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm just going to take a bit of time to recognize our guests that are here. We've got people that have sacrificed their time both online and physically. So online, we have people that will be joining us all the way from California. We have people joining us from Zimbabwe. We have people joining us from Zambia. We also have people from South Africa that will be joining us. And not only those, we also have India, we have Brazil, and yes, we have Boston, which I believe is still USA. So we have a very good presence that is gracing us this morning to this wonderful event, which is the official launch of the book, It's Time for Africa by Mr. Joshua Ngoma. A round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I would like to specifically recognize a few dignitaries that are in our midst. First of all, we have the Kingdom of Morocco. We have the head of missions, Mr. Hakim El Momi, and Mr. Listen Mutemeri. I don't know if they're here. We can just welcome them. We also have representatives as well from the DRC, Mr. Jules N. Gongolo, Harun M. Kids, and Tabile T. I'm not sure if Tabile is also from DRC, but you are all welcome. We also have Prophet Njida from the Embo Kingdom. I think they're still on their way. Yes, I think they're still on their way. And then we also have somebody that I've been told that he's going to mesmerize us this morning, and that's none other than Mr. Denzel Erasmus, who's going to be our performing artist this morning. A round of applause for Mr. Erasmus. And also in our midst, we have delegates or representatives from Kenya, from Zimbabwe, from Malawi, and I'm informed the Dutch Embassy is also with us. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is not an auspicious day, I don't know what is. Once again, thank you to all of you that have made the time to come and attend. Please just give yourself a round of applause. I know we were saying it's very cold this morning, and I'm not waking up. I opened one eye at 7 a.m. and I'm like, oh no. But I'm grateful that I'm here and we are very honored. Thank you very much for making this day possible. Otherwise, it would not have been possible had you not taken your time, ladies and gentlemen, to come and grace us with your presence. Once again, without saying much, thank you very much for making it possible. And we promise to mesmerize you. We promise to wow you with every item that is going to be presented on our program. And without saying much, I would like to welcome on stage my co-host, Ms. Patricia, who's going to take you through the first half of the session. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Okay, so without further ado, I'm just going to give a few remarks about the whole vicinity and the first part of our program. Just for knowledge sake, our bathrooms are inside. So you just take your left or right, depending on where you are seated, and you just follow the signage, and it's going to take you to the bathrooms, which are quite close to our canteen inside. The ladies and the gentlemen are catered for. If it happens that those are full, you can use the one that is close to our training center, which is where we're getting our teas and biscuits. You just use your left, there is a door, and it caters for ladies and gents as well. So the overview of our program today, right after this, we are going to have a few of the book reviewers, which are the people who played a big role with the writing of the book with Mr. Joshua. We are going to have Mr. James Elrich from California. We are going to have Prof. Mandy Lukuni from Zimbabwe, John Mpaketeni from Zambia, and we are going to have one of our strategic partners, which is Mr. Don Bowick, who's going to also speak for just 5 minutes. And right after that, because it's a fun day, it's about Africa, we are going to have our singer who's going, oh my God, that instrument. It looks already promising, and we are going to have some dance performances. And right after that, the king is going to come, and my co-host is going to take over the rest of the day, introduce the author, and we are going to talk about what we came about today. Is that fine with everyone? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So up next, we are going to have Mr. Jones Mpharateni from Zambia. We would like just to apologize because of different time zones within our globe. Some of our reviewers may not be readily available at the moment. So Mr. John Mpharateni is gonna come and just give us some of his insights in terms of what he has kind of gotten from the book during his review. Thank you so much. Is Mr. Jones here?
Thank you so much.
Is you online? Thank you so much. Over to you, Mr. Mpharateni. Thank you. We can put up the video so we can also see Mr. Jones Mpharateni.
All right, thank you, Masters of Ceremonies. My name is Jones Mpharateni. I'm based in Zambia. Former high school mate with Joshua. We were in the same high school. The curiosity that Joshua mentions in the book started actually at school. And though he was our head boy, but he led us, and also his curiosity, we could see it very evident in him. And we knew that he would come through to such writings. At school, Joshua also, just quickly, Joshua also was heading, I think, the school magazine, and also later on the Writers Club, which was covering the province and later on at national level. So this book comes at the right time, and especially the launch today being Africa Freedom Day. And you realize that Africa, my perspective comes from I'll bring 2 or 3 angles. One is, of course, we've got a very rich history, cultural diversity, promising future, but a lot of hurdles on the way. As a teacher, I started off as a teacher and also lectured. Even a few weeks ago, I was guest lecturer with Wits University. And one of the points we were discussing was how the school systems in Africa have not adequately addressed our history, cultural diversity, and all that, social norms and so on. We seem to have ignored that. But this book brings to the fore that it reminds us about the importance of where we're coming from. And also, if you look at the syllabus, most syllabi in Africa, they don't seem to have adequately addressed issues of where we're coming from, looking at our roots, because it's when we understand our roots, where we're coming from, that we can chart our tomorrow. Coming back to the discussion I had with Wits University Social and Behavior Change Communication class a few weeks ago, we were looking at social norms. And we also touched at how we seem to have ignored our past, and yet that is really important. And when we come to looking at behaviors, we are touching on to say, for one to understand the behavior, we need to understand the social norms of the community. This book has come at the right time, because also even for students in universities can understand, because we seem to have lost it at some point. We seem to have lost it because the past does not come to the fore, as I mentioned. We have got a very rich culture, but it's not adequately delved into at various levels of our society, education systems, and so on. And also as a development, using my development as a development practitioner lens, this book will be very useful for research. When I was talking to Joshua at the time after I finished, and when we are discussing some parts of the book, I realized that, oh my God, when we are doing this or that research, when I was in Nigeria with the UNICEF, or when I was with WHO in Fiji, although outside Africa, it cuts across globally. You realize that several aspects of history or the background of humankind has been really left out. So this book brings a comprehensive portrait of Africa based on Joshua's exploration. He has traveled globally, not Joshua, but with his family. They've traveled globally. And based on that, that is one angle that brings into this book a sense of global, what would I say? A sense of being part of the globe. And Joshua has tapped into various continents and brought into that perspective into what this book is talking about. So when I look again at the school system, you realize that the book at university level or college level would be very useful with students doing research, as mentioned, agriculture sector, economics, and so on. So in conclusion, I would say it has come at the right time, and based on Joshua's rich experience and rich travels that he has done, he has brought to the fore the relevance that we need to add to our development. Also, at the right time, it has come the launch on the Africa Freedom Day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mpakateni. That was a beautiful overview. And then we are going to have next Mr. Joshua Ngoma, who's also online. I don't know if they can hear us. Mr. Rogers? Mr. Rogers, can you hear us? Okay, we are trying not to incur any more delay. Mr. Dan, if you're ready with your small words, we can go ahead, and we hope that in 5 minutes or 10, we are going to be online.
Thank you, Patricia. I don't think I'll need the speaker. I'm told that I'm too loud in general. Good morning, everybody. Would you like me to use this? How's that?
Also, just so that the people online can hear.
No problem. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Joshua, Kaban, everyone else in the meeting, and everyone online. Thank you very much for this small opportunity just to elaborate on how we came together with Ern and with Joshua, and the timing of such a wonderful book. And we'd love to thank you very much for that. If I think back 10 years ago, we were a composting company based about 5 or 6 kilometers down the road from Ern, and we've been researching and studying soil technologies for a long time now. But what's interesting about timing is 10 years ago, we started collecting horse manure right next door to this facility. And only 10 years down the line did we actually connect with Joshua and his team. And it's interesting to note how everything is about timing in life, and it's wonderful that we can be part of this whole journey. Just to give you a bit of background on TurfNet, we're a sustainability soils technology company based presently in the landscape industry, but our whole focus is on the understanding of soils and how they can play a role in agriculture going forward. As new farmers that we are witnessing at the moment, you are at the forefront of a vital movement towards more sustainable farming practices. And traditional farming methods, sort of rely heavily on chemical pesticides, fertilizers, and herbicides. And while they are effective in short term, these chemicals have long-term detrimental effects on our environment and on our own personal health. But there is a better way, and at Earthworks and at TurfNet, we believe in the power of nature to heal and to sustain itself. Proper composting enriched with beneficial systems can lead to the development of a resistant pest species, creating a various cycle that demands even more chemical use. So what we've got to do is understand that there is a better way. We believe in the power of nature to heal and sustain itself. Proper composting enriched with living microorganisms offers a viable and sustainable alternative to chemical pesticides. By incorporating compost into your farming practices, you can reduce or even eliminate the need for harmful chemicals. It is a process. We understand the weaning of these systems has to take place, but there are benefits, and here's how. Number one, improving your soil health. Compost enhances soil structure, water retention, and nutrient availability. Healthy soils support robust plant growth, making your crops naturally more resistant to pests and diseases. Promoting biodiversity. Microorganisms in compost foster a diverse and balanced soil ecosystem, and this biodiversity helps suppress harmful pathogens and pests through natural competition and predation. Enhancing the plant immunity. Plants grown in compost-rich soils are generally healthier and more vigorous, and they have stronger root systems and better access to nutrients, while enhancing their natural defenses against pests and diseases. The environmental impacts that these chemical inputs have can be reduced by using compost. The reliance on this thereby decreases your farm's carbon footprint and mitigating the harmful effects on local wildlife and water resources. Cost-effective farming over time. Composting can lower your input costs by reducing the need for expensive chemical fertilizers and pesticides, and can also improve crop yields and quality, boosting your farm's profitability. So there's a little breakdown on what we do and how we study soil technologies and trying to understand how to mitigate some of the problems. But at TurfNet and Earth at Works, which is the soils company that we're developing, we offer very, very high quality products. And this is the thing that people don't understand. There's a huge difference between low value and high quality organic products. And by expert guidance, we would like to get involved with young farmers to teach them how to actually start doing these processes themselves, which eliminates a tremendous amount of cost when it comes to agricultural practices. Together, we can create a healthier and more sustainable farming environment, but it's all about collaboration. It's all about putting skills together and collaborating with people with the same intentions around this wonderful country of ours. Thank you for the collaboration we have with EARN, and let's hope that we can work together to cultivate a better and greener world. Thank you, Joshua.
Thank you, Mr. Dan. Mr. Rogers, can you hear us now? Mr. Rogers?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if none of our guest speakers or our reviewers are still available, I'm going to request, and I know I'm doing what I shouldn't have done, Mr. Denzel to come and just grace us with one song. And whilst he's preparing himself, I just would like to reiterate on what our past speakers have just spoken about. And I think this book has come at a right time. Actually, I wanted to ask Mr. Ngoma why it has taken him so long, because I think this book needed to be here a couple of years ago. And thank you so much, Mr. Dan. You've spoke so well in terms of farming, because I believe Africa needs to take up so much on farming. Somebody once asked and said, why are we hungry when we have so much land, when we have so much sunshine, when we have so much of every natural resources that Africa needs to be fed? So thank you so much on that, and we believe that that has been noted and everybody else can take it from there. Thank you so much. And for Mr. I think that was Mr. Joseph Palateli. Thank you so much, sir. I just want to reiterate on what you have said when you say the book is a comprehensive portrait of Africa. And I think that is very true. I went through it and I realized that Mr. Ngoma has just touched on almost everything, starting from a traumatic past, right through to what he thinks or what he suggests can actually be the way forward in order for Africa to be fully recognized as part of the global world. Thank you so much. And Mr. Denzel, over to you.
That was amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Denzel. DJ, my mind. Thank you so much, Mr. Denzel. That was mesmerizing. And as I can see, we have our two dancers as well. We are going to do the entertainment part while we are waiting for the world and move on with the book launch. But just in case, let's watch this. Can you hear me? Yes. That's good.
Yeah, no, you can carry on.
Hello.
It's not me.
So we are going to gather the letters that are just arrived, and right after that, we are going to welcome the royals. They are still on the way. We are incurring some delays. You know, it's a Saturday, it's a party, it's a book launch. Everybody's all over the place, but hopefully, let me just check on the dancers. And if we do not have everything as planned, we have our author here. We are here for the book. A longer discussion about the future of Africa cannot hurt. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Whilst we are waiting for the kids, okay, it's my turn now. Oh, whilst we're waiting for the children who are still busy, I just want to draw your attention, ladies and gentlemen, and I must say I am highly favored because I had the opportunity to get the first copy of the book. How about that? The very best. And it was written Joshua's copy. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'm very blessed. But as I was going through it, oh, the guys keep moving me. as I was going through it, there's just one page that I really loved so much as I was studying. Page 11. You will forgive me, Mr. Ngoma. You know gossipers. People who gossip. Okay. Somebody say we cannot continue to call them gossipers because we need to start addressing people accordingly. So their new name is information transfer officers.
But where are they then?
It's distorted. It's distorted. It's hazy, like it's blur. It's coming, but not clear. Okay, thanks.
And applaud here for the strength those people reacting. The book talks about cultural wealth. Africa is so diverse, and what they are doing is so beautiful. I saw the little ones literally doing what the older ones are doing, and it's amazing to see they have so much strength and they are so aware of their roots. This is beautiful. So the king is on the way. He's 5 minutes out. I'm gonna call Mr. Denzel to play one more song or two that is going to welcome the king. And he has somebody who's going to introduce him. And right after that, we are going to go ahead with our book launch. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Denzel. Indeed, that was mesmerizing. Hey, talk of cultural diversity. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so wowed. We saw the children dance. That just shows how rich Africa is, you know, in terms of, and somebody says you can never be an African and you don't dance or you don't sing. And then somebody took it a step further and said they all do it in circles. So I don't know about that. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, His Majesty is running a bit late, so we are going to swap the program around. I don't know if Daliso is here.
He's going to go break it.
He is here outside. Okay, Daliso, if Daliso is not here, is he able to come? Yes, please. Okay, please call him to come through. If we can all come through, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to one of the most special items, which is an essence of today. We are going to shift the program around. Please let us call everybody in. Let us all come round. Let us all come round. We are going to shift the program around. Sorry. Coming around. You coming around. It is time for Africa, and it is Africa Day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very excited with what we are about to hear, and I'm sure all of us, our ears are itching, isn't it? I'm gonna take this privilege. Daliso, is he coming? Hi, Daliso. Oh, wow, you look like a real Daliso, hey? Thank you so much. Daliso is going to do us the honors of introducing the author. I know on the program he said a recorded message. We didn't want him to see that his son was going to be doing it. So, Daliso, thank you so much. Please do us the honors of introducing the Ngoma. Thank you.
Cool. Well, a round of applause, please. Listening for the author of the book, my father, Joshua Chimakula Ngoma. It's wonderful that I think we're even getting to 10 years with EARN as an organization. And through the lovely years that I've actually even worked with them for the last 7 years, obviously got my mother at the back, my sister, hopefully she's also online with her family as well. But obviously, it's Africa Day, and it's appropriate to even have a book launch for It's Time for Africa. So I just wanted to obviously send my congrats to my father. He's been a mentor, a person who's actually been able to uplift a whole lot of us. I think even with, where's Kuban? I can't see him here. Yeah, that we've obviously got African Greniers teaching the youth as to even getting into agripreneurship. So of course, I think for all of us, when you even drove in, it was agriculture and the likes. So just a whole lot of youth upliftment and even the upliftment of the continent as a whole. So I think for everybody, just one warm welcome in terms of a round of applause for my dad, Joshua Ngoma. And I'm hoping that you guys really enjoy the book and even what he actually has to say in regards to it. Thank you. Thanks, Sunny. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen of protocols observed, welcome to the launch of my book, It's Time for Africa. Today, on Africa Day, we celebrate this dynamic and diverse continent and the contribution of Africans to our world. Africa Day marks the founding of the Organization of African Unity 61 years ago on 25 May 1963, and now is called the African Union. Celebrated across the continent and the globe, this day reminds us of Africa's immense potential, its young and growing population, rich natural resources, breathtaking beauty and cultural diversity. It's time for Africa delves into Africa's past, tackles present challenges, and the visions a future that is remarkable. It invites us to embrace the continent's essence and contribute to its prosperity. I passionately believe Africa is not just a continent. It's a mindset, a spirit, a beacon of resilience and hope. Together, let's explore Africa's true essence, rich in diversity, history, and untapped potential. In my presentation, I will reflect on Africa's rich and diverse culture, historical challenges, and highlight opportunities for economic growth and sustainable development. I will delve into the key pillars essential for Africa's transformation, such as leadership, infrastructure, education, governance, innovation, sustainability, and others. These elements form the foundation for progress and prosperity. I will also emphasize the power of regional cooperation and global partnership, showcasing inspiring examples of successful collaborations driving positive change across Africa. I thank you all for being here, and let's delve into the presentation and unlock Africa's potential. Where's go back? See, I'm a PC person, I don't use maths.
Should I full view this? So that's good.
Ah, okay.
Oops.
Okay. It's okay. Ah. With technology. So in terms of the overview of the book is that it's time for Africa provides a fresh perspective on the content of Africa and challenges common misconception about the region. See, people tend to look at Africa as a country. It's not. And so the book challenges that. So that then we also look, the book also highlights the cultural richness and diversity of Africa, emphasizing the importance of preserving and celebrating African traditions and customs, as we saw just now. The book also explores the untapped potential of Africa and encourages its citizens to take pride in their heritage and work towards a better future. You see, when you look at Africa, Africa has got a number of advantages. So it's time for Africa explores a number of these advantages as for Africa as a continent, and these includes abundant natural resources. So as we all know, Africa is rich in natural resources, including oil, gas, minerals, and cultivated arable land. About 65% of uncultivated arable land on the planet is on this continent. This. See, when I use my PC, I have no problems at all. So, as I was saying, about 65% of uncultivated arable land is on this continent. Now, look what we've done. It's been yeah. Young dynamic population. Africa has a young dynamic population that is rapidly growing and increasing urbanizing. And this is our focus within URN, because this is our asset. We are the youngest continent on the planet. 60% of the population in Africa is under 25 years old. And this is a double-edged sword, because it can be a ticking time bomb if we don't look after it very well, or it can be an asset if we nurture it well. And in URN, that's why we focus a lot on youth development, particularly in entrepreneurship and innovation, so that we can turn that young population into an asset. Warm climate, as you all know, Africa's warm climate provides a unique advantage for agricultural productivity. The continent's extensive sunlight and high temperatures allow for longer growing seasons and the ability to cultivate a wide variety of crops throughout the year. So we should be the food basket of the world. And we shouldn't be net importers of food. We should be the net exporters of food. And we can do that by making sure that we focus on these advantages that we have right now.
And we shouldn't forget about the traumatic past. So it's time for Africa also explores the profound and enduring impacts of racism, slavery, and colonialism on the African continent. The book delves into how these historical injustices have shaped modern day social, political, and economic landscapes in Africa. The book emphasizes the need for Africa to define its own path to development, addressing structural imbalances and injustices caused by colonialism and slavery. You will see in my book is, I've got a full chapter on this, but it's not for people to dwell on it. It's for us to understand where we're coming from and why we are in the situation in which we are. But we shouldn't be fixated on that. Because that's why a car has got a small rear view mirrors and a big windshield. It reminds us to constantly glance behind us, but focus into the future. So from chapter 5 of my book, chapter 19, I focus on the key pillars for economic development, because that's the essence of the book. But to give it context, that's why I've had to go through the roots of where we are coming from. But we should be looking at where we are going. And in the pillars, I've looked at leadership. So it's time for Africa argues that Africa needs visionary leaders who can inspire and guide their citizens towards progress and unity. Because having all those advantages, we should be doing better. And why are we not doing better? One of the key pillars of that is good leadership. The book also emphasizes the importance of leaders who are committed to the development and prosperity of their countries, not themselves, and the continent as a whole, prioritizing the needs of their citizens. Another pillar that I've looked at is infrastructure development. So we are looking at infrastructure as being pivotal for Africa's progress, requiring strategic investments in transportation networks, energy infrastructure, digital infrastructure, water and sanitation facilities. The book also emphasizes that African governments should put in place effective policy frameworks to drive economic growth, enhance connectivity, and improve quality of life across the continent. They must especially prioritize infrastructure development to foster sustainable development and create a conducive environment for businesses and communities to thrive. See, governments don't create jobs. They don't create businesses. Private citizens do. But what we need as private citizens is a conducive environment in which to operate our businesses. Rule of law. It's time for Africa argues that the rule of law and governance are essential for African stability and prosperity, emphasizing accountability, transparency, and strong institutions. The book points to the fact that African nations can build stable societies, attract investment, and create an enabling environment for businesses to flourish and economies to drive through the preservation of rule of law and good governance. Education. The book sees education as being a crucial driver of development and progress, enabling individuals and societies to achieve economic stability and growth, as well as social and political empowerment. The book emphasizes the importance of quality education that equips youth with the skills and knowledge that they need to compete in the global economy, improving their chances for a better future. It shouldn't just be rote training where people memorize. You want to our young people to be taught all the 6 C's of critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication, and the last 2, which are essential for leadership, which is citizenship and character. The book also advocates for increased investment in education and the lifelong learning opportunities for all Africans,
enabling them to continuously improve their knowledge, skills, and competencies to enhance their professional growth and personal development. Innovation and technological advancement, and this is one of the areas that N also looks at. The technology is transforming the world, and Africa is no exception. It's time for Africa argues that Africa must embrace technology and innovation to leapfrog into the future. The book highlights the opportunities presented by digital technologies such as e-commerce, mobile banking, and telemedicine, and calls for policies that support the growth of a thriving tech ecosystem on the continent. Economic diversity. One of the challenges that we have on the continent is that we tend to focus on one sector. And most of those sectors were left by the people that were ruling most countries on the continent. And we also like selling or exporting raw products. And that's why it's difficult for us to manage economic shocks. So it's time for Africa points to the fact that economic diversification reduces reliance on a single industry, fostering a broader base for growth. The book also looks at the benefits of trade. Open markets and trades spur growth and innovation, fueling economic development. The book emphasizes that to maximize the benefits of open markets and trade, a conducive environment is essential. See, we cannot participate in open markets if we don't develop our industries effectively. And that's something that we need to look at as a people of the continent. Fiscal responsibility and sound monetary policy. It's time for Africa points to the benefits of fiscal responsibility, because fiscal responsibility ensures prudent management of government finances, leading to economic stability and sustainable growth. The book also points to the benefit of sound monetary policy. Sound monetary policy is essential for maintaining price stability, controlling inflation, and promoting economic growth. The book also looks at the environmental stewardship as being key to environment. So sustainable development is key to environmental stewardship. The book emphasizes that sustainable development balances economic growth with environmental protection and conservation, ensuring a healthy and livable planet for the future. We shouldn't have a situation where we are developing industries that are damaging the environment. We need to preserve this planet for the future generation. And so we need to develop responsibly. The book emphasizes that mitigating climate change is an urgent need for environmental stewardship. It requires reducing greenhouse gas emissions and adopting clean energy technologies. The book also advocates protecting biodiversity as being essential for environmental stewardship. It requires preserving natural habitats and ecosystems and promoting sustainable use of natural resources. Time for Africa also looks at the importance of regional integration. Regional integration is critical for promoting economic growth in Africa, and as it improves access to markets, enhances competitiveness, and facilitates the sharing of knowledge and resources. The book also looks at the importance of regional cooperation. Cooperation, too, is essential for promoting economic growth on the continent. So the book has looked at the success stories of regional cooperation that includes ECOWAS, EAC, and SADC. And my last chapter focuses on what we are doing within Enterprising Africa Regional Network and other groups that are like ourselves. So it highlights the importance of impact-driven organizations such as Enterprising Africa Regional Network that are committed to developing and supporting the next generation of African entrepreneurs. The book also looks at how N provides resources and networking opportunities and guidance to aspiring young African entrepreneurs, particularly in the field of agriculture and food security. The book emphasizes that fostering entrepreneurship is essential for economic growth and innovation on the continent. In conclusion, the book emphasizes that instead of getting fixated on our traumatic past, we in Africa should focus on unlocking the continent's full potential for economic growth and development by taking advantage of its natural resources, youth population, and the warmer climate, as well as embracing the key pillars essential for economic development, including leadership, quality education, innovation, and technological advancements, collaboration, open markets, and among other key pillars that I have in the book. I got 16 of them. So I will read just a few passages from my book. I will just read a few pages in the introduction. Our continent of Africa is often referred to as the cradle of humanity, a distinction that highlights its rich and enduring historical significance. The first theory, known as the out of Africa model, is that Homo sapiens, that is, we, developed first in Africa and then spread around the world between 100,000 and 200,000 years ago, superseding all other hominid species. The implication of this argument is that all modern people are ultimately of African descent, an idea supported by a vast amount of scientific data, including genetic, archaeological, and fossil evidence. The out of Africa theory helps us recognize that all human beings share a common ancestry, thereby debunking any false notions of racial inferiority or superiority. This understanding can help those in Africa and other parts of the world who were once colonized to reject the negative stereotypes that have been imposed on them and to embrace their unique cultural heritage and identity with the product. All too often, people in far-flung corners of the world, perhaps due to limited exposure or understanding, mistakenly talk about Africa as if it is a single country. Africa is not a country. Being the origin of all modern people, Africa is diverse, complex, and a vibrant continent. It is the second largest continent on Earth and is home to an incredible 55 countries, each with its own unique identity and story. The continent has significant variations in natural resources, human development, and political and economic systems. The land area of Africa is approximately 30.37 million square kilometers, which is larger than China, Europe, and the United States combined. Beyond its natural and anthropological importance, it's accurate to state that Africa is endowed with an outstanding 65% of the world's uncultivated land, an impressive 90% of the world's raw material reserves, a glittering 40% of the world's gold reserves, a symbol of wealth and power throughout history, a sparkling cache representing 33% of global diamond reserves nestled in its depths. A whopping 80% of the world's coltan reserves, a vital component of our digital age, and an essential 60% of global cobalt reserves. Africa is rich in oil and natural gas, is culturally diverse, and has contributed many art forms to the world, including dance, music, architecture, and sculpture. While it is difficult to attribute exact quantities of natural resources to specific African countries, as the resources are often spread across multiple countries and estimates can vary depending on the resource, on the source. According to the latest Economic Intelligence Unit report, South Africa, Nigeria, Algeria, Angola, and Libya produce more than 2/3 of Africa's natural mineral wealth. While the statement that Africa contains 30,000 recipes of medicines and herbs is difficult to verify, it is true that traditional medicines continue to play an important role in many African communities, and there is growing interest in studying their potential therapeutic benefits. Africa, as a land of immense natural resources and untapped potential, has the potential to become a global economic powerhouse. With a rapidly growing population, abundant arable land, and a wealth of mineral resources, Africa has the potential to transform itself into a prosperous continent capable of competing on the global stage. However, Africa, responding with the diversity and brimming with potential, has been entangled in the chains of historical injustices and contemporary challenges. The transatlantic slave trade, colonialism, and subsequent political and economic reputation have cast long shadows over the continent's history. These past traumas have shaped the trajectory of Africa's development, often leading to political instability, corruption, and widespread poverty. In the present day, Africa is grappling with problems such as youth unemployment and food insecurity, as reported by the International Labour Organization, and expected 26% of the youth labor force between 15 to 24 is unemployed. And we face the same situation in our country here. This situation is especially stark in South Africa, where unemployment rates for the young people hover at alarming highs. Concurrently, nearly 80 million of our African population battle hunger and malnutrition due to food insecurity stemming from factors such as climate change, population growth, and political instability. Yet, amid these challenges, Africa stands poised at the cusp of a new dawn. The path to prosperity lies in identifying key pillars of economic growth and nurturing them effectively. And those are the pillars that I spoke about in my presentation earlier. I'll skip this. I'll go to, I'll read a portion of chapter 1. On the momentous date of 12 September 1962, the then President of the United States, John F. Kennedy, impassioned the nation with his "We Choose to Go to the Moon" address, a landmark speech in galvanizing public support for the Apollo program. The collective endeavor intended to place a man on the lunar surface within the decade. What unfolded post this speech radically transformed our perception of our own home, Earth. In 1969, an indelible mark was made in human history as astronauts Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin set foot on the moon. From their unique vantage point, they beheld an awe-inspiring sight, our planet. A breathtaking blue sphere serenely existing in the boundless expanse of space. They saw a world without borders. A single entity floating in the cosmos, reinforcing the idea of a global family living on a fragile planet. This profound experience, known as the overview effect, redefined our understanding of our Earth as not merely an assemblage of nations, but as a unified global community residing on a delicate sphere. I believe in the human race, which we need to preserve and protect at all costs. We must either embrace full cooperation and coexist or risk our own extinction. The results of our actions or inaction will be inherited by the generations that follow us. Therefore, the solution for a sustainable future hinges on our collective effort, on every individual, community, and nation working in harmony. As we gaze upon the horizon, one area of the world that represents an enormous opportunity for the global sustainable future is our African continent. Known for its diverse cultures, rich history, and abundant resources, Africa has tremendous potential. The question that arises is, how can we, as a global community, collaboratively utilize these resources to not only benefit Africa, but also contribute positively to the world economy? In addressing this, we should prioritize a sustainable and equitable approach. This means developing an economic model that does not exploit Africa's resources at the expense of its environment and its people, but instead fosters shared prosperity. We've got a situation where we have multinationals coming on the continent. They exploit it, they damage the environment, they leave the people poor, and that's not what we want. We want shared prosperity. Africa's abundant natural resources, from minerals to its vast agricultural potential, should be developed responsibly, taking into account the needs of its local communities and the planet's ecological balance. At the same time, we need to invest in Africa's most valuable resource, its people. This includes fostering education, healthcare, and infrastructure to foster innovation and technological growth. The aim should be to build a self-sustaining, diversified economy that empowers Africans while also contributing to the global market. Sustainable development in Africa is not just about economic growth. It's about ensuring equitable access to resources, opportunities, and benefits. It's about creating systems that respect and protect the environment, and about building societies that uphold human rights and promote social justice. Achieving this vision will require concerted efforts from us Africans and the global community. I think I will just go to the epilogue as my last reading. So, epilogue. Africa, often referred to as the birthplace of humanity, holds a unique and pivotal position in the annals of human history. Within the pages of It's Time for Africa, we journeyed back to these ancient roots, taking a moment to understand and appreciate the deep connections that unite us all, regardless of our current geographical and cultural distinctions. Yet, while this shared ancestry is a vital part of our story, it's only a chapter. Today, Africa is a thriving mosaic of cultures, ideas, and potential. To get fixated solely on its past would mean overlooking the vibrant energy and progress the continent is currently experiencing. Every sunrise in Africa shines on its cities bustling with the innovation, landscapes echoing with age-old traditions adapting to modern times, and the people filled with hope and aspirations. The continent, once primarily seen through the lens of its ancient history, is now carving out a modern narrative filled with promise and anticipation for what the future holds. From the rhythmic beats of Kinshasa's rumba music to the bustling markets of Marrakesh, every corner of Africa resonates with the stories of triumph over trials. Its vast deserts, lush rainforests, and overflowing rivers echo tales not just of survival, but of thriving against all odds. The continent, with its vast array of languages and cultures, also showcases unity in diversity. Take, for instance, Zambia's peaceful transition of powers, setting a gold standard for democratic process, or the solar innovation lighting up villages in Tanzania, bringing a new dawn for sustainable energy. South Africa's journey from the shackles of apartheid to a rainbow nation underlies the power of reconciliation and healing. The growth of Nigeria's Nollywood, now a global cinematic phenomenon, speaks volumes of the creativity and talent that abounds. Every river, mountain, and plain in Africa tells a story. From Egypt's rich history as an ancient civilization to Uganda's progressive efforts in wildlife conservation, Africa continuously molds its narrative, embracing its past while fiercely charting a path to the future. The agricultural revolution in Malawi, turning farming into feast, or the digital leaps in tech hubs like Nairobi and Cape Town, reflects the continent's versatility and forward thinking. Mozambique's recovery and rebuilding post-natural disasters and Botswana's fiscal discipline and governance illustrate the continent's holistic approach to growth. Just as the Nile River encounters numerous bends and obstacles on its journey to the Mediterranean, yet never loses force or direction, Africa too has faced its share of hurdles, yet remains undeterred. There are undeniable scars left by colonialism, social political upheavals, and economic disparities. Nevertheless, these scars, instead of being mere reminders of painful past, also exemplify the continent's ability to endure, heal, and emerge stronger. In cities like Kigali and Cairo, young entrepreneurs are harnessing the power of technology to create solutions tailored for African context, showcasing that innovation isn't just about global trends, but also about local relevance. In places like Zimbabwe and Zambia, community-driven initiatives are working towards sustainable agriculture and conservation, highlighting the blend of tradition and modernity in crafting a brighter future. The energy of Africa's youth, constituting a significant portion of this population, is another proof of this forward momentum. They are not just the leaders of tomorrow, but an active change makers today, advocating for transparent governance, equal rights, and a sustainable environment. Moreover, Africa's approach to its challenges and opportunities has garnered global attention. International collaborations are no longer mere about aid, but about mutual growth and shared objectives. From Asia to Europe, from the Americas to Oceania, there's a growing recognition that Africa's success story is integral to the global narrative of progress and development. Your Majesty. Quiet. In the cultural realm, African art, music, and literature are receiving worldwide acclaim, bridging gaps and fostering understanding. This cultural renaissance, and echoing from the vibrant festivals of Accra to the art galleries of Tunis, is evidence of Africa's profound influence on global aesthetics and thought. As the rhythm of African trends resonates far and wide, so does the continent's potential to be a beacon of hope, innovation, and progress. Every individual, whether residing in the heart of Lilongwe or in the bustling streets of New York, holds a part of African narrative within them. The diversity, tenacity, and resilience that Africa represents are qualities that the world desperately needs in these rapidly changing times. The stories we travel in time of Africa are more than mere chronicles of a continent. They are tales of humanity, evolution, and the shared dreams of a world bound together by common aspirations. As Africa rises, it brings with it lessons of community, the importance of harmony with nature, and the profound understanding that our destinies are intricately interwoven. To the business eyeing the next big opportunity, Africa is not just a market, but a hub of creativity and innovation. To educators and thinkers, it offers insights into ancient wisdom and the future of learning. And to the youth, it stands as proof that change can be spearheaded by the fervor and passion of those willing to believe in a brighter tomorrow. It is this belief in tomorrow that the world must hold onto. The challenges we face today, from climate crisis to socio-economic disparities, are not insurmountable. Africa's journey is proof of that. A continent that has faced centuries of exploitation and adversity is now emerging as a leader in sustainable growth and holistic development. As we look ahead, envisioning a world where every individual has access to opportunities, where every dream is varied, where every effort is recognized, we must remember that the strength lies in unity. Our planet's future hinges on our ability to come together, to share knowledge, resources, and dreams. Africa serves as an inspiration and a reminder that when we uplift one another, we rise together. So as the sun sets on one chapter and dawns on another, let it illuminate a world where borders are mere geographical constructs and our hearts and minds are aligned in purpose. For in this unity, in this shared vision, lies our path to a world that not only celebrates Africa's glory, but also recognizes the infinite potential that humanity holds when united in purpose. Thank you. Oh, now, before I leave the podium, we need to look at the call to action. It's Time for Africa is more than just a book. It's a call to action for you to join the movement for a thriving, inclusive, and sustainable Africa. You can make a difference by investing in Africa, African businesses, supporting education and training programs, advocating for policies that promote growth and development, and taking action to protect the environment. The book is also a call to action to join in the continent's renaissance and to contribute to a thriving, inclusive, and sustainable Africa. We invite you to read the book, share its message, and take action to support Africa's development. Together, we can build a brighter future for Africa and the world. This is your time. This is my time. This is our time. This is the time for Africa.
This time for Africa, Jungle, Jungle, Samina, Mina, Santalewa, Anawa, Jungle, Jungle, Samina, Mina, Santalewa, Anawa, This time for Africa, this time for Africa, we're all Africa, we're all Africa.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. A round of applause for our renowned author, Mr. Joshua Ngoma. Thank you so much. It is indeed time for Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, before I say a whole lot of things, is Mr. Denzel still here? Mr. Denzel, thank you so much. Your Majesty, we acknowledge your presence. But before we formally introduce you, Mr. Denzel wants to present something for you. Thank you. Wow. Take the mic, please.
One thing I didn't finish is that this book now is available on the all Amazon stores, and we've got some physical copies here that you can get. It's written on Amazon South Africa, but it's not yet available. And it should be in your bookstores near you soon. And all the proceeds from this book will go towards the work that we do in EARN. We will use all the proceeds for youth entrepreneurship and innovation in South Africa, and also we've got enough resources that we can sponsor other young people from the continent in what we're doing within EARN. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, before he leaves, a round of applause for Mr. Denzel. Please, without giving a round of applause, a round of applause. I must apologize on his behalf, she has to leave, but Mr. Denzel is a performing artist, as we could see. If you wish to invite him to your events or any settings, please do contact Princess Lona. We will be giving you the numbers to contact at the end of the session. But thank you so much, Mr. Denzel. One more time, a round of applause. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, back to the book. I think this book encapsulates almost everything about Africa. It goes without saying that at this juncture, Africa needs visionary leadership. Leadership that distinguishes itself in both character and in excellence. We need more investment in education, as Mr. Ngoma has just mentioned. Education that will enable the African child to participate on a global scale, on an equal footing with their counterparts out there. I don't want to dwell too much in the book. Please get it. Otherwise, they won't take it, Mr. Ngoma. So please get the book and you can get almost everything. But this is amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our author, Mr. Joshua Ngoma. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we just want to appreciate you for your patience. I know we're running a little bit behind schedule. So without wasting any more time, we are going to move to the next item on our program, which is a bit of words from the strategic partners. I know that we have some people from we have one gentleman online, Mr. Joshua Tree, who is from US Boston. I don't know if he is readily available now. Mr. Boston? Or is it only 1:30? Okay, all right. Okay, whom do we have? We know that Mr. Dan Barwick has already spoken to us. Do we have then a pre-recorded message from Ms. Hitendra Patel? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We will be listening to a pre-recorded message by Ms. Hitendra Patel, a strategic partner to Mr. Joshua Ngoma. Thank you so
Let me
much.
just give me.
And then immediately after Ms. Patel has spoken, I would like to prepare Mr. Stembiso Somi, who is the spokesperson to the Embo Kingdom. Once Ms. Patel has spoken, Mr. Somi, please prepare. Sorry.
Then it gives me time to check in the tips.
Yes, thank you very much.
So about 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay, we can. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Hitendra Patel. I am the Managing Director of the Global Innovation Management Institute. It's a pleasure and an honor to introduce my friend Joshua Ngoma and his book, It's Africa's Time. Yes, it's Africa's time. It is time for African entrepreneurs to be able to grab the future. It's time for African entrepreneurs to be able to do more and go global. It is Africa's time. The Global Innovation Management Institute, in its partnership with EARN, wants to democratize and liberate and unleash the creativity of every individual to be an entrepreneur, whether in agriculture, whether in AI, whether in technology. And in partnership with Joshua, partnership with EARN, the Global Innovation Management Institute is honored on this great work that is going on in South Africa today. I believe personally that the future, this century, is the African century. Yes, as people were imagining China in the late 20th century, saying, is China going to be the next big thing? Well, it's Africa's turn. Africa has the fastest growing population of young people. Africa has the talent. Education is now ubiquitous. We've got phones, technologies, which will spread knowledge everywhere. And it is with that, and institutions like EARN and the book that Joshua has written, is Africa's time, that should excite and inspire every one of you to try and make innovation real. We're very honored from here in Cambridge, Massachusetts, here in the United States, to be a partner of a South African organization that is making this real. So with that, I look forward to many of you who are inspired with what Joshua is doing through EARN, through his book, through our partnership with the Global Innovation Management Institute, where we are providing the methodologies for innovation. We are providing the techniques for creating the best and biggest ideas. We're creating the tools for you to form teams to be able to accelerate and capture the results of innovation. And we are looking forward to many of you, and you know who you are, to be soon on the cover of a magazine, standing there, inspired by the fact that it is the African future. And I wish you best of luck, and I look forward to seeing you on the cover of a magazine. Thank you very much. An honor and a pleasure to have been part of this event. Thank you, Joshua.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. Thank you very much. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Next up, do we have Mr. James?
No.
Okay.
Joshua is not there yet.
Joshua is not there, that's okay. We are going to move on with the program, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it is time for Africa. If you know you're an African, you know it's your time. Mr. Ngoma said it, it's my time, it's your time, and it's our time. Without wasting much more time, I would like to call upon Mr. Tembison Somi, who is the spokesperson to the Embo Kingdom, to come and introduce us the symbol and the beacon of the Embo Kingdom, His Royal Majesty, King Bugane III. Mr. Somi, thank you.
Thank you. His Majesty, King Bugane III, the diplomatic corps, Ambassador of Morocco, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, of protocol observed. I'm Tembison Somi, the son of Embo Kingdom, son of the soil, I may say. And I'm here to just give a brief background of the kingdom and then introduce His Majesty King Bugane III, who is in our midst. Embo Kingdom traces its roots back to around 1100 BC in the Congo region. That's the map of Africa. Congo region is somewhere there. So that's where Embo Kingdom actually traces its roots. And where a man named Dlomo Ngani, that's Udlomo Ukala, lived. And he hailed from the banks of the Nile River. He passed his kingship to Butwa, the rightful heir to the throne. This lineage continued through generations, leading to the emergence of Bapungane around 270 CE, according to the Gregorian calendar. Their eventual migration to what is now known as Mpumalanga. The kingdom has maintained and retained the rich history with His Majesty King Pungane III, being the direct descendant of the Embo Kingdom of the Bembe people. Today, we identify ourselves as in the kingdom as it signifies our role as custodian of the kingdom. We are the direct descendants of the Embo nation. As I've said, we traced our roots back to the Congo region. In a remarkable convergence with various African tribes, they actually confirmed and restored the Embo Kingdom of the Bembe people. And at the heart of this restoration stands King Pungane III. During the restoration, the clans and the kingdom that were present during the ceremony were given a platform to speak. And they all reaffirmed His Royal Majesty Chancellor King Pungane III as the king of the Embo Kingdom under the House of Pungane. Relating to the book, It's Time for Africa, and citing what the author actually mentioned in his book, which is embracing our ancient roots and charting a prosperous tomorrow. The Embo Kingdom aligns to the thoughts and the vision of the author, as the kingdom is dedicated to fostering pathways of creativity and opportunities for the betterment of all humanity. The mission of Embo Kingdom encompasses spiritual, social, cultural, and economic recovery of people worldwide. So with the key pillars from the book of economic growth, Embo Kingdom is part of the journey. With the leadership of His Majesty King Pungane, Embo Kingdom is indeed here to ensure that the vision of Africa, as articulated in the book, becomes a reality. If I may, as I conclude, tell you about the journey of life of His Pungane, of His Majesty King Pungane III, we might all need to first start by going to the back here, harvest some vegetables to prepare supper, because it can take the whole night for me to actually share with you the remarkable journey and the commitment to justice, equality, and development that His Majesty King Pungane III has committed his life. He continues to lead with wisdom and integrity, fostering growth, prosperity for all his people. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this time to ask everyone to stand up and welcome His Majesty King Pungane III by saying, Bayede, Bayede, Silo Samabana, Pungane, Bayede.
umtshiko wesitshotho zabalanda ngabalanda ngazi kasibalanda wayokuzala ngani ngokubhoqu kwalokusineka isankosana sala ngishukumila unhlabathonti nothukela ngifike beyihlenga beyiphalaza ngifike beyihlenga ngaguzibala uBhungane uyababaza ubabaza esesigodlweni uBhungane yindida yendaba uze waba yindaba nababezindlwana indlovu emnyama kamisamlomo ongangamazibuko umashaya alile njengesikhundlwana sovuya kamqanda eluphondo lunye ekansile empondo zimbili uBhungane uqowedisa omnyama wakhisa izindlu okwendlovu akaze akhisa okwenyathi uyawabulala umafu abantu abasalutho isilo sabombikazi mlotshwa thwala usiba lube lunye uyoshisa umuzi kamavumbela umbuzile ugamanqa umntakampila bathi kosala anjani bakosala ansikezithaka ngoba kwasala ubhaqile eswazini kwasala umtilingane kwabakakheswa amakhubalo abuyadliwa nguye usihlahla seshungu sombelebele kade bethi bayasigawula basincinda amazembe uhlaza olumaduna kothondose izembe lisemsamu kwamxanga unoma wezwezi kwabakwansele unkomo zakhe zimaqatha mhlophe ngokuwela umzinyathi usosolani bayadla bayasola kusenamuhla akukhona abasolayo ungangamanzi emkhonto yebisandakulolwa mvuma abantu onjengamabele umtshiki wezithotho zabalanda kazabalanda bayokuzala ngani isidla silila zonke izinsuku sililela abantu incinini emile esizibeni isokhiwa abanjani isokhiwa ngumgidi kansele umntosene nasethokozi kwathukuwa basambatheka babhekisa amahlebe ngebekhabonina dungane pheza abantu umkhulu dungane awungangankulunkulu umkhulu nkulunkulu awungangabhunganga.
Thank you very much. I don't think all of us understand what was just happening now. A lot of people don't understand. Even chiefs, you find them in nowadays, they don't understand the praises in terms of the meaning. The reason why we are having praises, we are inviting the divine spirits. People don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. That's why when praises are being said, we all stand up and give the honor to the Creator. A lot of people don't know that. They think when you give praises, you are giving praises to a king or a chief. No. Myself as King Bugani, I'm nobody. The main king in our kingdom is the Creator. I'm just the ears and the eyes and the mouth on behalf of him. I'm just an ambassador on earth. I don't own any land. I don't own any minerals. I don't own anything except him is the one who's in charge. So if all of us could understand that the praises are meant for that, then all will be united. They say it is time for Africa. For us to understand the name, time for Africa, I think we have to go back and understand what is Embo. A lot of people tend to take other kingdoms that they don't understand, especially here in South Africa. I think these are the main kingdoms. I want you to underline what I'm going to tell you. No kingdom that is made out of blood, it is a kingdom that is divinely orientated to the Creator. Yes. Those kings who created their kingdoms based on blood, on the other side, they are not welcome. It's true. They are having it difficult on the spiritual realm because innocent bloods were spilled. It's very important for us to understand. When we speak of Embo, it is the cracker of humankind. Be black, be white, be whatever that you want to think of yourself as. Categorizing yourself as the color. The source of your origin. It is called embroidered. That's where we all come from. And before we come from, there was a port where the divines met and agreed to say, as we are here in heaven, who are going to be caretakers on earth? Who are we going to be sending on earth to be our ears and eyes? That melting pot, when they make that person, the creator is there, your messenger is here. Want to refer as an angel. Whoever that is testing for your destiny, they are all understanding the purpose and the destiny. If all of us can understand that, we will then understand why it is time Africa. Because that's where we all go. Also, if we can understand that on earth, together in heaven, there are two governments. There is what we call the internal government and the external government. The question would be, where are you affiliated to be able to realize that it is time for Africa? If you are part of the internal government, you will understand, be it you are a Muslim, you are a Christian, you are whatever you want to call yourself, but you'll understand there is one center of power. Heaven. And heaven, there are structures. There is the creator, there is the council, there is the judiciary, there are messengers. If all of us can understand that, so we on earth, we are a replica. That's why the prayer says, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, as it is done where? If all of us can understand that, then let me tell you, divinity will prevail. No one will be fighting for power. No one will be killing each other. We would understand that for us to be able to function, divinity must prevail. Out of divinity, a culture is made. Out of divinity, a tradition is made. Out of divinity, we are able to understand that a nation is born. Imagine all of us in the continent, in the world. We are all channeling the same system of divinity. What would have happened? You wouldn't find wars. Lucifer wouldn't have powers. You know why he's got powers over us? It is because he looks at our convictions, our faith, our hearts. You know, I was talking the other day about the type of demons. How another demon that is more powerful than Lucifer, and people don't know that. They always say Lucifer, Lucifer. Lucifer is respected because of seniority in heaven at that time. But there are more powerful demons than him. But we can defeat them if we are united in the divine spirit, regardless of our church denominations. Because how do we relate? We bring a border amongst ourselves. I can't talk to him because he's Christian. I can't We don't look at the bigger picture. What is the bigger picture? It's the unity of different. I don't know if you hear me. Those who hear me will hear me. Unfortunately, those who cannot, never. I'm saying this because one man, I was invited by the Department of Arts and Culture. We're dealing with the history of South Africa, pre-colonial history. We've been in Pretoria. I think, I'm not very sure, did so or something like that. So he then came and said, excuse me, who is Ngani here? I did not know this man, but I met him. Everybody looked at each other and they said, can we ask you why are you looking for him? He said, no, I flew all the way from PE. I want to see this man. Hey, we were not comfortable. He said, no, don't worry, I'm a professor, I want to see him. Then they started checking, then they said, no, that's him. And then he says, can I have a minute with you? I said, unfortunately, that's what I said. Unfortunately, I came to this workshop. He says, this workshop is not important. I said to him, I was invited by these people. He says, it is not important. What is important is what I'm here for. I said, okay. But I'm just going to give you a few minutes. He says, no, just listen to me. That man, I spent the whole day with him. And then he said, I have to leave because my flight is around about 7. I have to go. That man was teaching me about divinity. That's what it was there for. And then he said, thank you very much. He told me, he says, imagine all of us, if we are channeled in the same system. Because he says divinity creates a culture. I'll tell you why I'm telling you about this. Because for us to be able to achieve this, as long as we are divided, we will never achieve this. He says, the divine spirits, if you enter into that space, he says it molds you. It defines who you are. It makes you to be humble. He says, imagine you and the other person find yourself in that frequency. He says, automatically a culture is born. Tradition is born. A nation that is born, that is defined. And then he says, peace prevails in them. He said, I have to be. He said, I have to live. Now imagine all this. Talking about Africa. Now, as we are seated here, we need to become an exemplar. Let us not see opportunities for making money. Let us see opportunities to change the world. According to the history now, I am told 400 years of slavery, the time is lapsed out. Now the whole world, together with the diaspora, they want to unite. Now the question is, they can't unite. You know why? The frequency. That's the problem. If all of us can find that frequency, all of us can be channeled in one, we would be able to relate. As long as me and you, Babu Ngoma, I regard myself as a Shangani, as a Zulu, and the frequency does not prevail. Babu Ngoma, I'm going to steal this little moment to share the history as this Africa Day. know, Zoma that they were talking about, even Jews are claiming him. I was shocked. They call him Shlomo. I was shocked. Very shocked. The Zoma that we are talking about is the father of the Bantu people. Do you know why Yemai referred as a Chona? These are names of individuals. And we define ourselves based on names of people who were selfish, created their own languages because of selfish borders. Selfish greed to say, no, here, it's me who's my name, it's me, and what. We ended up. The name, there's no nation, Babungoma, that is called Zulu nation. Does not exist. If you check history, it was conceived about 18 something. There's no nation that is called Zulu. There's no nation that is called Shangani. There's no nation that is called Tswana, Sotho, whatever. Tosa. It's a name of a person. His brother is 10. Imagine. I can't talk to you, I'm a 10. No, me, I can't relate to you because I'm Xhosa. These are brothers. Mpondo and Mpondo Mse. These are brothers, blood. No, I mean, I'm sealing Mpondo. You understand? It's based on selfishness. Our white brothers, they left for greener pastures to the other regions. That's why they've got this color. These are brothers' blood. But the question we need to go back so that we realize this: who are we? And when we understand that, then we're able to say, okay. Then the second step: how then do we work together and relate and move forward? Because that's the problem. If you know, I engage with our brothers in the Caribbean, in the diaspora in America, they still feel that we are from North America. We can't engage with this. You go to the Caribbean, same problem. You go to Jamaica or what is this areas, they still segregate each other. Now, until we all realize it, we are one, so that we are able to, you know, in Embo, we were taught one thing: we look at the surname, praises, then I'll tell you, you are my brother. I think we have engaged me and you a long time. During the wars of Mfepane, a lot of people left the south via Mozambique. Others ended up in Malawi, ended up in Zambia. And then I come to them and say, no, you are not my brother. You came to take my work here. That's a problem. It means I am demonstrating my ignorance. What we should be talking about as the people of the continent, including white people, how best can we distribute the minerals that are in this continent equally? Let's borrow an idea. I'm sorry to take long. Let's borrow an idea from the United Arab Emirates. So, you know, when I met the late Prince, died in a helicopter, may so rest in peace. He was telling me something about how they distribute dividend shareholdings onto the bona fides of United Arab Emirates, meaning Dubai. A child, when he's born at a maternity, is issued with the birth certificate, with the dividend share certificate. Yes, it happens in Saudi. This child, when he or she is growing, is a multi-millionaire. There's no need for crime. There's no need for fighting. There's no need for jealousy. Everybody's equal. Everybody's got his money. Then the country becomes stable. So these things, then they are realized. Now imagine if we borrow from South Africa. I'm waiting for a political party. I see my comrade there. I'm waiting for a political party that is going to be talking to what I'm talking about. I'm just waiting for one political party. Then I'll be standing there voting. Let me tell you the following. I'm waiting for that party. I don't know which one is that. No. Listen to what I'm going to talk about. No, let's wait and hear what I'm going to talk about. No, I'm not talking about the ANC. The ANC has not yet reached what is it? No, wait, listen to what I'm going to talk about. Still, you are not going to solve my problem. Let me tell you. Imagine if all of us, we do a due diligence, please, as a study also. Please listen to what I'm going to share, also the ANC. We do a due diligence study of all our minerals in the country. We call a symposium of all the kings and the chiefs. All of them in one room. We sign an agreement to say, based on what we have discovered in your land, we will put in the pool together as one. You've got platinum, you've got what is put in one room. And then we then say, all these minerals are going to be serving each and every bona fide child in South Africa. Equally. Two, it is also going to pay for their tuition at school, bursaries, whatever. Three, as we are putting these things together, a political party that is going to be contesting must tell us how are they going to make sure they administer 100% what we want everybody to realize as their dividends. Simple. So which party can do that? That's my point. Until we find somebody who speaks that language, let me tell you, we will never have crime in South Africa. It will be the end of crime that day. All the companies, the question will be then, how the companies are going to be working with South Africa. In some, is it Botswana? Yes, Botswana. It's very simple. 59-49. Take it or leave it. I like the Botswanas of that. Either take it or leave it. Based on diamonds, I'm just talking about diamonds. Now imagine when you go to, there's an area where Hosikadi of the Amandebele, they discover diamonds there. Now imagine, you take all the stock of the natural mineral resources in one room. They just discovered, I don't know if you know, they discovered oil in Utrecht. I'm not talking about the gas that has been discovered in the sea. So what type of a country are we going to have? So all of us can be, maybe it's a homework. We need to be talking about that as people of the continent. So that now when you go to Mpumalanga, and it's not far from the palace, we fought with a lot of foreign companies. What they do, they mine, they leave homes, they don't rehabilitate the land, they don't think about the future, they take the money, they go. So these are things that we need to regulate as a people. Now the problem is that also in closing is that we are not partners in this business. There is us and them. My brother, I used to serve in the subcommittee of international relations of the ANC during the time of Gwede National. I remember his PhD bulletin. They came and said, we are donating this mine. It's for 20 years lifespan. but was it declared to the people? You hear in the news, one leader is owning a mine. So these are wrong things. Moral-wise and ethically, we as EMBO, we don't agree with this thing. I want us to, if possible, Baba, where you DM, maybe let's see together, sit together with the ANC and live above politics and say, how can we save this, our people? Regardless of body to ownership. Africa will be the best. You have done a good job. We have charted the way forward. Everything begins with a first step. I want to thank you for what you've done. My apologies for coming late because I was invited at the book fair. I also was talking about my book. Yes, they invited me at Kingsmith College, so they were late to start, but I'm just from there now. That's my apologies. Don't say this man just comes and wants to. No. My apologies. I went there. It's I was delayed, but we took it upon ourselves to say we should come again. Ngoma, you have done a great work, and let me tell you, I'm not buying your face. You've been encouraging us to do agriculture. It's indeed your efforts. We would like to thank you very much for that. And Ngoma, please meet with us again, maybe out of this, and let's find a solution for these young ones to understand the significance of agriculture. You understand? Because if all of us understand that, because you see, when you look at our adverts on TV, they have a serious problem. The adverts on TV, they are breeding criminals. You know why I'm saying that? Listening to the language that is spoken. Oh, those are criminal language. It's true. So we need to find a way that South Africa does not think like criminals. You know, Islam, I was talking the other day about Islam, what I like about Islam. They have a system that they use. Be it on marriage, they don't just marry. They look at the wife must have a purpose, must complement your purpose and your destiny. What do? We see a woman in a mall with a makeup. Hello, baby, I love you. It does not tally with your purpose and your destiny. She becomes somebody in the house, or this woman, she's got a very clear view, but the husband is the opposite. You know why? Because the system of governance is not the same until we realize that marriage, it is not about love. It's about destiny. So if all of us can understand that Africa, it is not about me loving you, but it is about the purpose and the destiny of making this world a better world for those who are coming. We prepare the ground for them. I think.
What are they?
Siyayibongela. Kuthiwa ngesiZulu masikhuluma inkosi, you don't say anything awuphawuli. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, what I just said is once the king has spoken. So thank you very much. Your Royal Majesty, we are educated today. Thank you so much. For me, it is the unity part. And I think once we begin to understand what unity can do for Africa, we will go a long way. When we begin to understand what collaboration can do for Africa, we will go a long way. Thank you so much, Your Majesty. Without wasting any time, we seem to be catching up quite well. We have strategic partners whom we were hoping they would speak, and our kids here are ready. I was just going to give one strategic partner to speak, whoever is available online. Patricia, okay, Mr. Ravi Chaudhry is available to just give us the book review. Am I right? Ravi is available, yes. Mr. Ravi Chaudhry is available just to give us his own take of the book. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mr. Ravi Chaudhry, thank you.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Is the voice okay? Oh, I didn't get it. Is it okay, or do I need to change my sound settings?
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, so it's just yeah. Can you see it?
I can see you, I can hear you clearly, and can you see me and hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure for me to be here speaking to all of you from New Delhi. Joshua is a very dear old friend, and as a person who is not living in Africa, but is working on issues of leadership and development and equity and sustainability and governance all over the world, I found his seminal book a compelling narrative on Africa's imminent transition. I must compliment and congratulate him on this extraordinary presentation in his book on things that matter hereafter. He gives a panoramic view of Africa's role as the cradle of humanity, where the first humans lived. And I am particularly appreciative of the fact that he has referred to injustices suffered by the peoples of Africa over the centuries, not with a view to lament or apportion blame, but to highlight meaningfully the current state of poverty and underdevelopment, and to show how the new generations are resolutely overcoming the legacy of history to carve a new path, focusing only on the future they can have, they should have. I know that I identified reading his book 5 revolutions he talks about which are in the making and which could truly catapult Africa into from a casually known continent into a 55-nation powerhouse, producing landmark traditions, a new empathy, a new culture of oneness in the world. He provides an indisputable rationale to drive home that multiple nations in the continent, and he touches each one of them, are well positioned to become the pivotal new sources of growth for the entire world. With brilliant analysis and insights, he has outlined how agricultural revolution is being pioneered in Malawi, DRC, Rwanda, South Africa, Zambia, how the big-time mineral revolution led by South Africa, Nigeria, Algeria, Angola, Libya, Botswana, and Namibia, and DRC and Rwanda providing the bulk of vital minerals for the digital age. Technological revolution that is driven by Cape Town, known as the Silicon Cape. These are just some of the few examples. They show what has been done. But when I read his book, I could relate to his concerns. Why so much more has not been done? And I think that is the main purpose of his book. Right in his introductory chapter, he has outlined 12 bullet points on what needs to be done. Rightly, leadership, the quality of leadership is on top of the list. When I wrote my first book, Quest for Exceptional Leadership, about 12 years ago, I remember in various discussions a comparison between India and Africa. And I referred to an article I had read which said that whereas poverty and inequity in Africa is a tragedy, in India, it's a scandal. Today, a decade later, the public perception may be that India has improved a little, but it's far short of what should have been done and what can be done easily. And I think that is the challenge which Africa has to understand how to meet. And I am quite clear in after reading his book, that Africa is quite capable of outlining its own path to growth. It does not have to follow any model anywhere else. Don't worry about what the best practices in certain countries are. I think we have to follow the best practices in Africa, which many of them are capable of being the best practices for the whole of the world. Unemployment. How do we resolve that problem in Africa? It's a worldwide problem. And everybody is trying to follow the same rules in solving it, and nobody is succeeding. The problem is getting worse. And artificial intelligence is not going to help in that. It will aggravate it, certainly in the short term. I don't know what will happen tomorrow or the years later. So what do? I think Rwanda is one of the good examples I can talk about, because I met the High Commissioner of Rwanda in New Delhi, and she is brilliant. And she spoke about the climate-smart agricultural practices, which are very detailedly covered in Joshua's book. His initiatives on terracing and agroforestry in Rwanda are prime examples. So I think the employment can be created in a country, in a continent like Africa, where 65% of the land can become cultivable from uncultivable. Technologies are available, and we can grow the growth. For example, Rwanda has increased maize yield from 1 ton per acre to 5 tons per acre. It's absolutely remarkable. I couldn't believe it. And that has the potential to increase employment. So I think while the world is focusing on reducing employment in agriculture, Africa might consider increasing employment in sustainable agriculture, which is climate smart. 80% of the employment in the world comes from small and medium scale industries. And they have all the initiatives, they have all the ideas, they have all the knowledge and wisdom, but they don't have access to finance. If we can grow agriculture, if we can create access to finance for small and medium enterprises, then I think the 26% of unemployed youth between 15 and 24 will soon be a historical figure. And 280 million people who are hungry and malnutrition every evening will no longer keep us awake at night. But how do we do that? First thing is that we need to be not too closely associated with the GDP growth of the country. That is a wrong premise to focus on right away. In my last book and in the next book, which will be coming in the next 3 months, it actually would be a sequel to Joshua's book on what type of leadership we need for the countries to succeed in the next decade. Those who have succeeded till today are tending to show signs of failure, and the policies and plans they adopted till now are no longer working in their countries. They have to change. And African countries today can take the lead in that. How about measuring the GDP of the lower 80% of the population in each country? The top 20% will take care of themselves. In fact, we have by default got into a situation globally where we have socialism for the rich and capitalism for the poor. Most of the money that is available is distributed either through tax rebates or industrial subsidies or incentives for setting or investing money, not for employment. So we are somehow in every country, including India. I haven't found a country which is measuring 80% GDP growth. GDP growth for the lower 80% of population. That alone is the only index of whether or not a country is meeting 2030 sustainable development goals, each one of them. And if I was to pick up one goal among those, which is more important than all the other 15, it is how soon we can create parity between men and women in everything they do. If half our population is somehow not allowed to do their best for their nations, that nation will no longer be able to grow. And I know Joshua has referred to it in his book, and I think with the traditional culture, music, the multiple traditions that are there in Africa, it's a melting pot of culture. I mean, I have read briefly before Joshua's book, but I got a conviction in my mind after reading his book that there is more that unites the 2,800 tribes of Africa than what divides them. Now, can we socially and politically and in terms of aspirationally unite them in their goals, then Joshua's book will have met its objective adequately. I could perhaps go on, but I would stop here, and if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer. But let me reiterate that the question hereafter for political and corporate leaders is not whether to engage with Africa. It's how to evolve a unique strategy to engage with every nation of Africa. This outstanding book unambiguously answers all these questions. It's the right book at the right time, and it's aptly named It's Time for Africa. My hearty congratulations to you, Joshua, and a big hug from you all the way from India. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ravi. If you could please grace us with your presence for our panel discussion. We are just going to have a small cultural break, and then we are going to have into our panel discussion. Is that fine?
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your patience. And we have the kids that have one more song for the king, just one dance. And right after that, we are going to have kind of a panel, but we are going to have Mr. Ravi and Mr. Joshua that are going to answer a few questions. We'd just like to let you know that, as you can see on that corner, the book is available in hard copy here, but there are also options. You can also suggest people that can buy online on Amazon. There are various Amazon websites that already have it. Amazon US, Amazon Egypt, Amazon Australia. It's listed in Africa, in South Africa, sorry, but it's not available yet. When it will be, we'll let you know. But there is a hard copy there that today only is going for 365 rand, but on a daily it's going to be going for 390. Without further ado, I'm going to call the kids for the one song, and we are going to go ahead with our questions. I hope we have many, and then right after that we'll go to lunch. Is that fine? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Giving us this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Yes, thank you so much. For anybody who would like Mr. Denzel or the kids to come and perform anything to their event, please, we are going to give you Princess Lona's contact. Please do support arts and culture because I fell in love with them. Mr. Ngoma, without further ado, could you please come? People are going to have some questions for you about the book, about what you shared today. Hopefully, they are going to have an opportunity to send email with more questions with way forward. And Mr. Harvey, are you still online? Mr. Harvey?
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. So we are going to take questions. If you just have a question, you raise your hand and I'm going to get a mic to you. Is that okay? Do we have a question? Does anybody have a question? Please shoot. Okay.
Beautiful book. I've seen the summary, so to speak. I just want to ask a question in your comments. In terms of a lot of things of was mentioned to you by King Bongani as well, about Ubuntu and this indigenous culture that actually encompasses all these principles you speak about. How do we spread it and make it the golden thread to unite the different cultures in Africa?
I think His Majesty put it very eloquently in terms of how we should channel them. And when we begin to see each other as coming from one ancestor, and that despite our geographical distances and so on, that we got a common heritage, and that we should treat each other with the love and respect, regardless of our ethnicity, religion, and all that, then we are going to make headway. Because when we are united in heart, we tend to see only the positives, and so we see what unites us and not what divides us. And what I have in the book is about getting Africa united with the rest of the world in order for us to make this a better place for the generation that is coming. A lot of us that are here, the journey we've traveled is the distance we've traveled is much longer than the remaining distance. And so we need to create an environment. We need to give our young people the tools that they can use to inherit what we are going to leave behind. And we have to do it not just here, but for everybody else. So we need to work with other like minds across the continent and across the world and look at how do we deal with the different challenges. Because when you're dealing with the grand global challenges, you cannot do it on your own. You need to find people of like minds to work with you in order to solve each great grand, each challenge at a time. And that's what is going to get us where we should be.
Joshua, thank you so much, Your Majesty. You referred to the significance of names. So may I be the one to point out the significance of your name with also the person in the Bible that preceded you. Joshua led the Israelites into the land of Canaan. It was a promising land, but it was also a land intimidated by giants. And may your book relieve us as an African nation from being intimidated by that what we perceive as stronger and bigger than us, and find our unity as a continent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Joshua Chimakula Mr. Ngoma. Thank you so much for your great contribution. So my question is, your thoughts about our implementation plan in terms of teaching the young ones, especially from primary, the importance of agriculture as the continent. Thank you.
I think instead of focusing on rote learning that involves just memorizing, regurgitating what you've been taught in order for you to pass exams, we need to teach our young people to begin to have critical thinking, to be problem solvers. We need to make sure that the subjects that we have in schools are meant to solve societal problems. And that's why we've got so many people that have degrees roaming the streets, because there's a mismatch between what they've been taught and what the society requires. And so we need to start that from when the kids are in primary school, teaching them about but also, you see, we are all born geniuses, but we demonstrate our genius if we're placed in our natural space. Our education system, what it is right now is that it takes people with different interests and they put you in one class. And they say, and then they assess you using the same standard. So if I'm not interested in maths, I look like I'm dull, but I'm not. You place me in music, I look a genius. So the selection process, I think if you look at our program, the Agricultural Development Program, we assess people based on their interests. That's why it's very successful. So just because we haven't selected you for this program doesn't mean that you're down. You're not just good for this one. If you've got something else, you'll be better. So if you get young people from the young age and placing them in their areas of interest and then developing them in those areas, having looked at what society needs, then we're going to get a better impact than we do right now.
Thank you. Bayet. I'm coming from the south part of South Africa.
And I believe we are the most violent from that side, that part of South Africa. Eastern Cape in particular, of course, closer to KZN. And when you talk unity, I sort of begin to be concerned in the sense that I'm not going to blame schools, but I'm saying culturally, when you grow up, you're actually influenced to be courageous in that you can't fear another boy as a young boy. You can't fear another boy. So the culture of fighting starts right at the very young age. And then as you grow, begin to compete between yourselves, the village on that side of the river and the village on this side of it. And it goes beyond that. I'm from this town and this guy is from the other town. And because at the end of the day, I think for me, the attitude that we at the end have towards each ethnic group, it is actually planted right at that point, at that part, at the beginning when you are young, you grow with it, and you end up competing with everybody else. I'm Xhosa, I'm Zulu, and there's that competition. If you understand the old fights between the different ethnic groups, it's all planted at a very, very young age. Of course, I'm almost 60 years now. Maybe what I'm talking about is too much of a history. It's not happening now. I'm not very sure. But when I look at the violence that is still engulfing us at that, that region, in that region, you easily hear every day that somebody has been shot, and it becomes a normality that somebody dies of a firearm every day. I'm asking myself, if we were to engage in a project of uniting Africa, when right at home we're not united, how far are we to achieve that? Maybe the schools have got a role to play, but I'm asking myself, a parent who's never gone out of the Eastern Cape or out of KZN, how does he learn the new culture? And if they cannot, how to bring that new culture to those regions? For me, those are big questions that come as you were, talking about unity of Africans. How do we get to that point if at that level we are not able to influence the kind of thinking that we talk about? Thank you very much.
Thanks for the question. I think it all stems from leadership. And the person that knows more about leadership is none other than Ravi, who is online now. Ravi, let me put it, maybe you can shed some light with us in terms of how we can deal with the issues of leadership at the grassroots level that can help us unite at a continental level. Ravi? Taking sound.
Yes, well, he's not speaking right now. Yeah, we are ready.
Yep. Ravi, can you hear us?
I can hear you now, yes, very clearly.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I suppose you just have to repeat the question again.
I'm not sure, Ravi, if you heard the gentleman, what you were saying there in terms of what he, do you want to say what you said again?
I can help you repeat that. Mr. Ravi, can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly.
Yes, very clear. Yes, so he was asking about the fact that we are trying to take things on a larger scale, while it seems like the problem starts within the families with the little kids. So a young kid, when he is growing up, he is shown and told how to be hostile against the one who is not coming from the same part or the same region as themselves. How do we gather the knowledge that we have and go and teach to those parents that are still teaching the hostile kind of culture to their kids so that they can learn the new way to do things? Or how do we take this whole knowledge and change those kids that are in those parts, especially you're speaking about South Africa, the southern part of South Africa? How do we change those kids that are brought up in that way by their parents? How do we get the knowledge to the parents or to the kids so that it can have a bigger impact on a continental level, on a global level? Did I wrap it up properly?
Yes, well, it's a, I think I can relate to the question because it comes from, it's driven by the aspirations that one sees all around Africa. And it's justifiably and a very important aspect. I agree with this, and I also agree with the first question, which emphasized the need for education. And I think there's no denying the fact that we need education at the primary school and secondary school level. But I think we also, more importantly at this stage, need our leaders to be educated. And I think that is the missing link. And that, in fact, is the subject of my book. How do we transition from knowledge to wisdom in our leadership? How do we relate to the real needs of the common people, the people at every level? And that has to be done at the demands of the people. The people must become more eloquent, more vocal about what they are missing in life and what they want in life. And I think it's a time when, traditionally, in every period in history, the masses have always been very good, honest people. But they were led by people who were not as honest, not as good, not as ethical. And that regime continued because of the silence of the good people, the silence of the masses. Today, with the technology that is available to us, we need to be articulate more and more on what we need at every level in society. We shouldn't think too much about doing on a very large scale. Let's look at the scale that we can do, and let's talk about it and let everybody know that we have done it. And we will have no dearth of people who will emulate us and make it large scale. I totally agree that the things worth doing are not becoming large scale, and that is because the leadership has not been supporting these things. But time has come now, and I am convinced about it, that the leaders who still fall back on old habits and safe assumptions will not continue to remain leaders for long. I think the people will demand the type of leadership they need, and they will succeed. So we're going to see a revolution in the way leaders think because of the revolution in demands of the people they lead. And I think that is the key fundamental driver of progress. And I think Africa is ready for that. And Africa will achieve that. But I'm only going to say that if the people are going to make a difference, then they must fully commit to the new aspirations they have. It's not to do or not. No, there is no try. You have to do it till it is achieved. And that's the determination, that's the aspiration, and that is the commitment which we need. I don't know if I have fully answered the question, but feel free to raise a supplementary if I missed something or if I have not understood something.
The answer is, thank you so much. Mr. Ngoma, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think my brother Ravi has covered it well.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions?
Good afternoon, community. My name is Rashida, Dr. Rashida. I'm also a politician, but my humanity comes first. I am a humanitarian and I am a Muslim, born Muslim. But what I want to ask is, how are we going to integrate humanity in our society? But that is what's lost in our society at present. As King Bongani III said, we need to have a purpose. But a lot of us is chasing a dream and an idea, not a fulfillment. Because once you reach that not purpose, but that idea, waiting from there. No way, because you didn't chase a purpose and a fulfillment. We are not in love with ourselves anymore in South Africa. We want what you have. I am not my own water drop anymore. Because when I fall on that rock, I can change that rock. When I fall on that soil, I can fertilize that soil. But I want to be Joshua, and I cannot be Joshua. I need to be my own water drop. I need to cultivate. I need to encourage the youth out there to become that drop. Reach for the sky, not for that, because you know that little drop, it's got a purpose. He needs to merge with that ocean. Because when he merges with that ocean, he will rise, he will go to a cloud. And after that cloud, it will rain. And that rain will fertilize land for us. And we are the people that rain. We are that rain. So how are we going to fulfill that? How are we as human beings going to fulfill that? How are we going to grow that? How are we going to take the divine intervention back in our schools? How are we going to take that discipline and respect back into our schools? Because our government of the day taught our children, you have the right, and took the parents' right away. How are we going to take that back to school level? How are we going to save our children from the drugs? How are we going to save our children from the bullets? Because in my era, I buried 20 young men. I picked them up from the ground. I buried them personally. So I want to know, how are we going to, in Africa, in South Africa, we need to unite and find a common purpose. Because if you want to do a building, you will have a plan, you will have a vision, you will see it, you will feel it until you achieve it. So that is my input, and I would like to know, how are we going to integrate humanity, humanitarian work back in our communities? Thank you.
Very good question. Before Joshua answers it, Rashida compliments and congratulations on a very stirringly significant question, inspiring question. You said, how are we going to be more human? How to bring humanity in everything we do? I think it's human nature to be human. And if it is not happening, then there is an obstacle which is making it unnatural for people not to be human. And I think we have to start being what we are seeking in others. We start being human by ourselves. Each of us leads in one way or another a group of people around us. And I think the only message which I have learned and which I like to share with you are the words of Mother Teresa. If you have to lead people, you have to understand them. To understand them, you have to be close to them. To be close to them, you have to love them. And if you don't love them, you cannot lead. Now, you gave examples of South Africa. It's true in many other countries of the world. I know there is a great, what I would say, concern about what South Africa has achieved in 30 years since they had their first democratic election. And I am not entering that domain. But I think on either side of the fence, there are people who are human, and there are more people who are human than who are not. We have to start admiring, applauding those who do good work, and make sure that they become our leaders. If they can't become our leaders, some of us, like-minded people like you spoke about, have to become the leaders. As John Kennedy said, in governance, you can either be the anvil or you can be the hammer. So we can't choose to be the anvil. We have to become the hammer. And I think the African youth will give the answer. You rightly said so. They don't need to be taught. They know what's to be done. We have to just make it open for them, easy for them to start doing it. And there are a few countries in Africa who are showing the way. Let's follow them. But I think Joshua has raised very important issues. The group of people here are seized with those. And I think it's time for Africa, and we will soon see Africa succeeding. But let's remember that the world is moving very fast. And I keep saying that nobody should say that it can't be done. But the moment you say this thing is difficult to do, you are interrupted by someone doing it in some part of the world. We will not get far unless we accomplish at least one impossible thing every day. And therein lies the answer to every question anyone may have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Program Director. I will like to quote Professor Lumumba when he said to us, those who have ideas don't have power, and those who have power have no idea. And Dr. Rashid asked, how are we doing it? I believe His Majesty have responded that question to say, as we are sitting in here, it is our responsibility to collaborate and unite for the betterment of the next coming generation. Thank
you so much for all your intervention.
Your destiny. Out of that, you will know what is your purpose on the earth. I just wanted to say.
I was actually wondering, I think the same what I was thinking. This is just such an empowering moment for people my age that are here. Mr. Ravi mentioned something very important. Sometimes the youth just needs a platform, just a starter. And we are so grateful to have Mr. Ngoma to be that person in our lives, especially us who are here. I see some of my mates that are also here. Thank you for coming. He empowers us and he does things that will give us the starter, but he will tell you clearly, I'm not going to do it for you. Because he's not going to be here forever. And once he's gone, if he was doing it for us, we are going to stop as he lives. And it wouldn't make sense. Thank you for all your interventions, all your answers. I think while he was doing the presentation, he told you where the proceedings of when you buy a book are going. That's your kickstarts that we are giving to you. It will start here and then it will go further. So please find that 365 rand, buy the book, get it signed. I mean, right now he's a celebrity, you never know. One day you'll say, he signed my book. So please, let's go ahead with that. Purchase the book, get it signed, and we are going to go for lunch because this is the end of our program. I'm going to leave to my co-host to do the vote of thanks. If Ms. Ngoma had something to say to the public, he could go ahead. And thank you so much, everyone, for coming.
Well, thank you very much. I'll miss the lunch.
I think I would like to thank each and every one of you because this day wouldn't be what it is now without your presence. But this is just a chapter. As I said, this is more than a book, it's a movement. We need now to put this into action. And what we started in Enterprising Regional Network 9 years ago, it's part of what it's time for Africa is about. And we are focusing on developing the youth, and we are seeing the impact. And it's pleasing when you see young people come in the first week, you can see they look helpless. And a few weeks later, you see the spark in their eyes, and that becomes very heartwarming. And that's what gets us working all the time. And just as we are doing here, and we are linking up with the other like minds across the continent to say, let's share ideas. We have a formula that is working. We can share it freely because our aim is to make Africa a better place for our children and our grandchildren when our voices are finally silenced. And to my brother, Ravi, I really appreciate that you were able to be with us today and share with you your wisdom with the audience. I normally use the section from Ravi's book when we as you know, when we talk about moving from scarcity to abundance. One of the graphs that we use there, where you got the happiness against wealth, I got it from Ravi's book, because Ravi is very good as in terms of leadership, and he teaches a lot of leadership, and he's got a lot of wisdom, and I'm pleased that he was with us today, and I thank him. Thank you, my brother.
Wow, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you're wondering why I keep carrying my book. Podium, chair, podium, chair. Not because it looks great, hey? I'll tell you something. I once went past a church and there was a signage outside. And it said, please do not leave your bags unattended. Someone might think it's an answered prayer. That's why I'm carrying my book everywhere I'm going. Just in case somebody might think it's an answered prayer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last part of my job today. We have come almost to the end. Besides reiterating that we have the hard copies, we have the author. He's our celebrity for today. Grab yourself a copy, have it signed. Mine is already written, Joshua's copy, and I'm gonna make sure you know about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, for today, 365 rands, please let us, we're not just supporting, but we are joining the movement, as Mr. Ngoma has just said. Thank you so much. I would like then to finalize this whole thing with a vote of thanks. Without you, ladies and gentlemen, today would not have been possible. And we are grateful. I'm saying we, because me and Mr. Ngoma, we wrote the book. So, but we are so grateful, and as an organization is grateful for the support. And Mr. Ngoma, we appreciate the work that you have started doing. We want to believe that with this book, we are all going to have something, because everyone has a role to play as far as this book is concerned. Be it leadership, be it in education, be it in the economic transformation, be it in the partnerships, or whatever, the trade part of things. You have a role to play, both as an individual, but also as an African, and just as a human being. Your Majesty, I guess we have been reduced also human beings. Have not. Thank you so much to the organizers of this event. We are very grateful. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. The Kingdom of Morocco, we appreciate your presence. Thank you so much. Our delegates from the DRC, we are saying thank you. Thank you for making this day possible. We have Prophet Njida from the Embo Kingdom, His Majesty, the entourage, everybody else that came, Mr. Denzel Erasmus in his absence. Thank you so much. I was personally, I don't know. You know, I see myself as a worshiper and a musician, I don't know, but the moment somebody starts doing that, you trigger a certain part of me that probably you may not know I ever heard. But thank you so much to Mr. Denzel. Please convey the message, my princess. We are very grateful. To our little ones who are still going to come and perform as we are doing the book signing and everything. Over to, did you see those little ones? Let us give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Our representatives from Kenya, from Zimbabwe, Malawi, the Dutch Embassy, once again, we are grateful. And all the local people that came and supported the online community that was part of this event, we are so grateful. The book is out there. My co-host Patricia has already mentioned Amazon UK, Amazon USA, and let me see where else. I know that it has been listed in Amazon, South Africa and Egypt, but not available yet. But we have it in India, we have it in Australia. We have it both in Kindle and paperback. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. There are people representing Sprite here. From what I heard, I was hoping to see Sprite. But Kathleen. If I'm not mistaken, this has you all over it. Am I right?
Not Sprite.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, is this not beautiful? Can we give them a round of applause? Thank you so much for making this possible. We really appreciate you. We've got exhibitors that are around the corner. Also, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, as you go there. It's Africa Day today. I saw quite a lot of African things that are around the corner. Please do, if you can, let's support. And I've already spoken about the dancers, the strategic partners, the book reviewers. This is, the contributions, because some of the things you can read them, but it does make sense for some when somebody is explaining it, like Mr. Ravi, like Mr. Ngoma. You tend to grasp it even much better. So thank you so much for the great work that they have done. I hope Mr. Ravi is still online. We are really, really grateful. All the love from South Africa and from Africa, and we also wish you a happy Africa Day. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of today's program. But I will not end it until I have read one of the quotations from our author, Mr. Joshua Ngoma. It's on page 11 of the book, where he says, as we envisage Africa's promising future, let us remember its past, for it resonates with our own echoes. In the skeletal remains of Lucy, in the ancient bush straws, in the soil of this remarkable continent, we unearth not just our beginnings, but the promise of our potential. Close quote. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you. We love you. May God bless you. May God bless South Africa. And may God bless Africa and all her people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You forgot and thank yourself.
The mind like this. So you just want to see that people are wanting to.
Thank you so much. Try and fix the oxygen extra strong. 3 times before. You will rush.
Ladies and gentlemen, lunch is set. Please go to my right and bring yourself something to eat. A bit more volume, Mr. DJ. Are you the DJ? Thank you.